Monday Motivational Madness. A crazy good way to start your week.
Hola, you amazing rogues, and welcome to week 2 of the crazy holiday bonanza craziness. So I wanted to start this week off with a Monday Motivational Madness quote. I thought back to the beginning and how we were surrounded by a lot of people, both Clea and I, individually and together, by people that just, some were very supportive, but some were not. Basically, I came from a place where I didn't have a lot going on when it came to doing the things that I wanted to do. And the more that I started to push towards that direction, the more kind of that group of people that were around me and were used to me being a certain way, the more uncomfortable some of them got. Not all of them. Some of them were very supportive, but some of them were not. And that brings me to the quote. And the quote is, and I'm paraphrasing here, the more that you start to see your worth, the less you start hanging around people that don't. And there's something very, very powerful about that, because a lot of times we think of ourselves, we basically view ourselves through the filter or through a lens of what we think everyone else sees us through. Or the person that we're supposed to be is usually dependent on what somebody says. You know, you always hear like, you've changed, man. You end up surrounding yourself with people that are a reflection of the way that you see the world. Basically, they're a reflection of your mindset. So the more that you start to change your mindset and start going towards a direction where you feel more empowered, you feel more worthy, you feel like pushing through into this thing, the more there might be a little bit of pushback from those people, because there's a status quo that's been established there. And once that status quo has been established, what ends up happening is you're breaking out of it. You're pushing out of it. I think it's the Four Agreements, or maybe it's another book, or maybe it's something that I saw somewhere. I don't know. But there was this great analogy. If you went to work and then you went into this bar every day and you met up with the people that were at the bar, and you were just sitting there, and basically everybody in this bar, what they did was they bitched and moaned about their day and their job and all that stuff, and were like, oh, it's such a horrible day at work. And then they had those competitive moments that we all have when we're in a state of misery, where it's like, oh, you think that's bad? Well, I blah, 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 blah. And then one day you go out to the ocean and you look at the ocean and you don't go to this place and you're standing there and you're just mesmerized by this beauty. And so something inside of you changes, right? You're like, I don't want to go to that dank place. I want to experience life. I want to experience the world. I want to better myself. I want to be more than I've been thinking that I am. Get really excited about that, and you go back to that bar and you try to relate that experience to them. And basically what'll happen is, they're sitting there, what they're used to getting is commiseration, bitching about their jobs or bitching about whatever is going on in their life. And you're sitting there saying like, no, all you got to do is switch it up. Like, look at the world differently. Get out of this dank place. What they'll end up saying is like, you've changed, man. You've changed. You're not even whatever. And then at that point, you have a choice. Either you return to what is normal, you return to what is familiar and what you know is safe because you know what to expect, or you head out on your own by yourself into this other venture. And depending on how many people for how long you've surrounded yourself with that are negative, it could be really isolating. Knowing that maybe some of the people that you've considered friends or some family or whoever may not be as supportive and will want you to stick to that status quo. Others won't. Others will be very supportive because they want to see you grow. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you be happy. I'm sure that a lot of you guys here on Patreon have already experienced this, but be prepared to understand that sometimes you may be feeling alone. You may be walking this road by yourself, and understand that doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It just means that you're finding your own voice, your own way of doing it. And you are awesome. So trust your voice, trust your way of doing it, And don't let anybody that's telling you that you changed make that seem like it's a bad thing. We are always constantly growing, evolving, changing. Well, I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I'm definitely not the same person I was 10 years ago when I very first started on this thing. And, it's a good thing. So if somebody's like, you've changed, man, be like, yeah, that's awesome. We all change. And yeah, now it's back to the craziness, the fun, crazy week in the studio. Clea and I, will be having crazy fun. And as soon as I turn off this camera, I'll be putting the music back on and doing all the things. And remember, your worth is really what matters. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks that you're worth. How you feel about yourself is ultimately what matters. Everybody else that doesn't see that, they're just going to melt away into the background. I adore you guys. Adios.